At Thanksgiving, my uncle joked he'll probably ask for leftovers. I just laughed. Then my sister's boyfriend walked in, saw me, and froze. He whispered, "That's him." My aunt dropped her drink. My family thinks I'm broke. I let them think that. I drive a 2011 truck. I wear the same rotation of plain shirts. I live in a house that looks small from the outside because it's set back on 5 acres, and nobody in my family has ever been invited over to see the rest of it. I'm 31. I started a software company when I was 24 with a friend from college. We sold it 2 years ago. I won't say the exact number, but I never have to work again. I kept working anyway because I like what I do. I just don't talk about it. My family wouldn't understand, and honestly, they don't deserve to know. My dad left when I was 11. My mom raised me and my sister Wendy on her own. Mom's side of the family never let me forget I was the son of the man who walked out. My uncle Ron made jokes about me my entire life. He'd call me the charity case at Christmas. When I got into college, he said, "Let's see how long that lasts." When I dropped out to start the company, he told my mom she raised a quitter. Nobody in my family took me seriously. Not once. I stopped explaining myself years ago. I just showed up to holidays in my truck, brought a dish, sat in the corner, and let them talk. This Thanksgiving was at my Aunt Linda's house. Same house every year. Same people. Same comments. I walked in and Ron was already in the kitchen holding a beer. He looked at me and said right on time, "He'll probably ask for leftovers before we even sit down." Everyone laughed. Linda laughed. My mom gave me a look like just ignore him. Wendy wasn't there yet. She'd been dating a new guy for about 6 months. Nobody had met him. She told the family his name was Kevin and he worked in tech. That's all anyone knew. I sat in the living room with my plate and watched football. Ron came in and sat across from me. "Still working at that little computer thing?" I said, "Yeah, still at it." He shook his head. "You know my buddy's shop is hiring. Actual work. Honest money." I said, "I'll keep that in mind." He leaned back. "I'm just saying, you're 31. At some point you gotta stop playing around and get a real job. You can't live off your mom forever." "I don't live with my mom. I haven't since I was 18. He waved his hand. Same difference. About 20 minutes later, the front door opened. Wendy walked in with Kevin. I'd never met him either. I didn't know what he looked like, but the second he stepped into the living room and saw me, he stopped. Dead stop. His face went white. He looked at Wendy, then back at me. Then he whispered loud enough for the room to hear, "That's him." Wendy looked confused. "That's who?" Kevin pulled out his phone. He opened an article and turned it to the room. It was a profile piece from a tech magazine. My face, my name. The headline was about the acquisition of my company. The number was in the article. Kevin looked at me. "You're Wendy's brother? Your brother built and sold the platform my entire company runs on. My team talks about him like he's a legend." The room went dead silent. Linda was holding a glass of wine. It slipped out of her hand and shattered on the kitchen tile. Nobody moved to clean it up. Ron was staring at me from across the room. His beer was halfway to his mouth. He hadn't blinked. My mom looked at me. Her eyes were wet. "You sold your company?" I said, "Yeah, Mom, 2 years ago." "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because nobody ever asked what I actually did. You all just assumed." Kevin was still standing in the doorway holding his phone like evidence. He said to the room, "Do you know how much this company sold for?" I said, "Kevin, don't." He looked at me and nodded. He put his phone away, but the damage was done. Wendy sat down next to me. "Why didn't you ever say anything?" "Because every time I tried, someone made a joke about leftovers or told me to get a real job. After a while, I stopped trying." Ron put his beer down. He opened his mouth. I looked at him. "Don't." He closed it. Dinner was quiet. Nobody made jokes. Nobody asked me for anything either, which I expected. They were still processing. Linda swept up the glass and never made eye contact with me again. After dinner, Mom pulled me into the hallway. She was crying. "I'm so proud of you. Are you okay? Do you need anything?" She always asks that. Every holiday. Every phone call. I said, "Mom, I've been okay for a long time." She hugged me and said, "I'm sorry I never asked more." Ron left early. Didn't say goodbye. I drove home in my old truck. Nobody asked for leftovers.